One more.
March 25th, and we just finished our week with Michael. Michael's from Merit, BC. He was doing our 1-week mentorship. Michael came here actually a little concerned. He was a little worried because I put up a video of why I'm not afraid of competition, and you guys can look at the link just up there, but I was referring to how well established our business is here in the Okanagan, and he was a little concerned because he's kind of in my area. He's about 2-3 hours away, and he was kind of worried that maybe I would view him as competition. And some other people kind of took that video out of context, and really all I was saying is that if you're going to start a business, you know, you really got to think about establishing your brand, establishing your presence in your area, so that when competition comes, you can succeed and thrive and be prepared to compete. And that's all I was referring to, is that we have a really strong company here in the Okanagan, and you know, if people do come in, we're ready to compete. I'm happy to compete on the market here. We have a really strong business though, and Michael was a little concerned, but we had a great week here, and we kind of went over what he can do in his area, and he's probably more focusing on wholesale because Merit, BC is just right off the main highway that goes into Vancouver. So if he wants to take this seriously, wholesale might be a really good direction for him, or maybe a little bit into the Kamloops and Merit market. That's kind of what might work for him. We get students here all the time, and we always go over the specifics of what can you do in your area, and how can you take away from your experience here and succeed. And that's what our program's all about. So really busy week here. We did a lot of production. I had King and Thor here on the weekend, and they were milling some wood. So we have lots of wood right here, but we also have a bunch of wood over by pad 6. So I'll just bring you guys over here as well. So we're starting to think about construction and get our expansion started. So we have lots of wood right here as well. The whole building is going to be attached to Lab 2, and we're going to be framing everything with 2x6. We mill our own wood here, so everything is the true size. So 2x6 is going to be the walls, and we're going to be putting that on a foundation just on some pyramid blocks, if you guys can see over here. So we're just going to be mounting everything on pyramid blocks. So this is still a temporary structure. We're able to lift this up and move it if we ever had to. So for whatever reason, if the farm was moving, we're able to take our buildings with us. So that's been always a really important thing in the planning for our farm, is what can we do to make it so that we're not stuck here in Summerland if something were to ever happen. Those are really important things to kind of discuss and figure out before you get too big, because you know we own the land in a sense. My business partner Thor, this is his property, but you never know kind of what could happen in the future, and it's always really good to be prepared for that. So we're going to be expanding 40 feet to this building right here. And we're going to be getting an excavator. Summerland Excavating is going to be coming in, and we're going to be taking away a lot of dirt and actually leveling to the bottom of this pyramid block, so you guys can kind of see how much of a slope there is from the one just down there. So we're going to take away all this dirt, and then the new pyramid blocks that we put on it should just sit on some nice sandy soil, and then we're going to attach a building here. We're going to have a lab just in the back there. That's why I've been talking about our modular sterilization design. That's going to get forklift into the back here. I just ended up buying this tractor from Thomas. He's been lending us this tractor. His business is Locomotive, which is just down in the end of Garnet Valley here, and he was looking to sell this, so we're going to be fixing this up this summer, hopefully making it look brand new, and it'll be a nice asset on the books for us. And it actually comes with some forklifts, which is great because we're going to be able to fork all of our new sterilization bins into the new lab eventually. All of this is obviously going to take some time. So other than that, that's what we're hoping to do in about 2 weeks, and this building should probably go up pretty quick, so possibly in about 5 weeks. My investor King, he sourced out a really good deal on some tin. So the same tin that we have on the roof here, he was able to get 92 sheets, 15 feet long by 3 feet for $2,000. And just to kind of give you guys a perspective, these are probably 8 by 3 on a 24-foot building. It's about $1,000 to do that roof, and probably just a little bit more to do that. And we got so much tin and such a great deal. So that's going to be for the new roof, and we're going to be tinning these buildings, finally getting rid of the Tyvek. I know you guys have seen this on the channel for a while, and the reason why we haven't covered the buildings is because it wasn't necessary. And we were talking about doing board and batting siding using Thor's milled wood again, but we still have to wait for that wood to come in, and then we have to find time to mill it. And with this deal on the tin, it's going to be such a great way to get these buildings finished, and it's going to look pretty sharp. We're probably going to do this gray paint on the step here. We're going to do that all on the soffits just up there, and it's a creamish brown tin. We're looking to get all of this wood stained on the main production area, and then we have some OSB just in the back there on our fridge and our storage room. We're probably going to tin that as well, so that we kind of just bring the whole farm together. So that's kind of what this year is all about. It's about finishing this farm and getting it working the way we want, and really just improving efficiencies so that I can stop working so hard and really just start focusing on the business and making everything work really well. I've been not really concerned with that for a while, because we're trying to establish our business here in the Okanagan, and kind of worrying about how hard I was working. I was just accepting that that was just part of the business, because we were still very much figuring stuff out. But I'm ready to kind of have things work a lot better here for me, so that I can get some rest, and you know, I think the business will be a lot better for it. So like I said, lots of production here. A lot of this stuff we started a while back. I don't think I have my notes in here. I don't, but I would have started these with our first student. These would have been with Elizabeth from Texas, so that's probably about 3, almost 4 weeks ago. So these are pretty much ready to go into the greenhouse. Everything in the greenhouse right now has been our overwintering, and I'll bring you guys in there real quick. Our overwintering looks like it's actually been really successful. So kind of moving forward, we're just trying to figure out the best strategy for our business. But we normally have mushrooms kind of April 20th, where we kind of get peak production for our farm, and right now we're looking, I think, about April 5th, April 6th. This is greenhouse 1. This has been growing pretty slowly for about 3 weeks. What's interesting is all the top shelves, or at least the first 2 shelves, they're fruiting, and then it gets colder down at the bottom, and they're either not fruiting yet, or they're just a lot more behind. But no, these aren't bad here. But if we go all the way to the bottom, they're a little bit smaller down there, just where the ground's colder. Nothing really over there right now. A couple small guys there. But you guys can see this overwintering process is pretty cool. They're just popping through the tape, and they're taking their time. So right now it's just enough to kind of feed me and my family, and then once we get any real production, then we'll start selling to restaurants. And again, this greenhouse, it fruited in November, and then it got too cold, so we shut it down. That's why you have to tuck tape over all the slices. So, you know, it's still to be seen how much production we're going to be getting out of this greenhouse. And then this is greenhouse 2. All of the blocks in here, they actually froze in our lab, and we started filling this might have been 2 weeks ago. So we're just starting to get some mushrooms popping out. So really cool, you know, like all the overwintering blocks, they froze and they survived, and now it's just to be seen how much production we're going to get actually out of these blocks. But you know, they're looking great. You know, we had some mushrooms growing kind of in the bags. They were mutated, you know, they're more like coral-like because they were starved of oxygen. So we picked all of that out of the bag, and then we just collapsed the bags and put them in the greenhouse. You know, we're trying to avoid this as much as possible, getting mushrooms fruiting in the bag, because they're going to rot. And for the most part, these are just like brand new blocks, but they froze in the lab initially. It's pretty cool. And you know, nobody's doing this. This is all my research, and this is a great way for us to push the season in April and hopefully get an extra 3 weeks of production that we normally can't actually take advantage of. Last thing I want to update you guys on is my partners have really pulled through. We're actually going to be getting a diesel hammer mill on the farm, and I'm not sure how fast this is going to happen, but we're looking to get these horse shelters that you guys can see in the back just at the front of the trucker tarps, and we're gonna join them together and make a really nice area where we can put our dried sawdust. And then right at the base of those horse shelters, we're gonna have a diesel hammer mill where we're gonna be scooping our wood chips into the hammer mill to make sawdust. And the reason why sawdust is so important is this is what traditional mushroom businesses use, and I've always used wood chips, and it's been about 6 years now, and I've always known that I've had a disadvantage for using wood chips, but it was part of our story, and it was something I could get locally, and we could still make money on it. So my whole business has been designed around wood chips. We're profitable, but the thing is the yields that we get from a 5 to 6 pound bag of wood chips, we're lucky to get about a pound to maybe a pound and a quarter over 6 weeks. And the thing is with sawdust, and especially when you're looking at master's mix, you can almost get about 2 pounds of mushrooms, if not more, from one of those blocks. And when you start considering how much production I have already on my farm with these 5 greenhouses, we can improve the production of our farm just by switching to sawdust. And you know, the thing is wood chips, they take up a lot of space in the bag, and the mycelium is going to only get the outer surface of the wood chip. But when we make sawdust, there's more surface area, and the mycelium can get at all of the wood at the same time and really benefit from that. And even though we add the same amount of supplementation that traditional farms would add with sawdust, with our wood chips we're getting a lower yield. So we actually will increase the yield on our farm significantly by switching to sawdust. And King, who sourced out the tin roofs for the siding of our buildings, he sourced out a 4,000 American hammer mill that was at an auction, and we got it for $1,600. And by the time it got shipped up here with duty, taxes, freight, the exchange rate into Canadian dollars, I think it ended up costing us about $3,500. But the thing is with this hammer mill, that cost is well worth it. So we have a lot of really cool stuff happening on the farm, and a lot of this stuff is going to start happening really quick. So I'm going to be showing you guys how everything works out. We'll get all the research on the YouTube channel this year to show you exactly how much more production and how much we've improved our business with all the tweaking that we're working on this year. Really exciting year for you guys. So stay tuned, more to come. We'll see you guys in the next video.